This is going to be a quick review of all the books that I read in September. The first book that I read in September was called The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. This took me about 2 weeks to finish. Oh my god, my cat's hair is just like everywhere. But yeah, so this book took me 2 weeks to finish, and it wasn't particularly a hard read when it comes to Steinbeck's writing. It is pretty simple, bare bones. He's not wasteful with words, but he's also very descriptive. But the reason why I wanted to take my time to read and savor this book was you could tell from the get go it's going to be loaded with a lot of heavy themes. It deals with family, capitalism, migration, um, the obstacles of doing like a huge exodus from having a comfortable life to then, hunting for a job, being on survival mode, and deals with the family dynamics that the Jode family have and how what they do to deal with these problems. And um, I love this book. It's so relevant to what's going on right now, not just in North America, but also, well, in America and Canada, and but also what's going on in Europe. I almost felt like I was reading a prophecy that he wrote in the 1930s or like a prediction that he had. But yes, this book is timeless. It applies to a lot of the problems that we see today in North America and just the plight of just he talks a lot about the plight of migrants and people who are forced to leave their homes behind, not because they want to, but because they have no other choice, and then the problems that they have to face when they move to this new place in hopes of finding some sort of a job, some sort of, you know, some sort of a life. Also, he knows how to write a strong female character. I loved Mama Jode. She was the kind of unspoken leader of the family. She was very, you know, resilient and very resourceful. She just put her family first in the beginning. You see that she's just trying to figure out a way for them to survive. And later on, her arc is where she goes from just, oh, I have to care about my family to going, oh, we have to figure a way out to help other people survive too. And this is very clear in the ending. And this is, I believe, how you write a good, strong female character. It's not about doing five somersaults in the air and throwing a punch and a kick. It's just about being there for the people you love. It's about having a strong character, a strong compass, and changing when times require you to change. And, she really stepped up. So I loved her in this. She was my favorite character. Also, despite this being a very bleak story about, you know, um, kind of like, I would say I read this on Reddit, but they referred it to like a reverse exodus of a family where they have a very nice, comfortable lifestyle and everything is ripped apart. And now they're on the road in a trashy little car trying to figure out to survive, just to, have some water and food because they don't even have enough money for that. It's just they're living on scraps. Um, he still managed to make me giggle. Like the two little kids of the Jode family, Ruthie and Winfield, the little competitive nature that they have with each other and the little antics that they get into, and how Mama Joe takes care of them reminded me of how I used to behave with my sister when I was a little kid. It's just so funny, so cute. Loved it. So, yeah, I believe everyone needs to read this book, especially, actually, you know what? Anyone. Everyone needs to read this book. I love it. This was my first Steinbeck, and now I want to just dig into all of his books. I want to read everything he's written because I just love it. I love the way he writes, where he sets up these long dialogues and conversations between characters, and then he would drop like like just these words of wisdom or these quotes that reflect the theme that he's trying to show in the book. So, yeah, loved it. Okay, next book. Next, I read Watch Out for Her by Samantha Bailey, who's a Canadian author. This was a psychological thriller, and it follows the story of Sarah Goldman, who is a paranoid wife and mother. She moves her family from Vancouver to Toronto in hopes of starting a new life and starting fresh away from the creepy and weird nanny that they had hired named Holly. But in her new home, she finds these hidden cameras and she feels like her family's safety isn't out there, and she wonders who's watching them and is it Holly? I liked the beginning and the middle of this book. It was a page turner, it was suspenseful. Um, the writing was was good. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't meh. It was good. I liked it. It was a quick read. It was easy to read. Um, but the ending kind of felt like it just fell a little flat for me. Um, it wasn't. It was a little predictable, but I just didn't like the ending because of the character that died. I feel like there were a lot of other kind of endings or avenues the author could have taken to make it to make the climax more cathartic. I feel like I just didn't get that high when, the reveal was made. So yeah, all in all, it was still a good book. I liked it, and it was perfect to slowly transition into fall, even though it's extremely sunny and warm here. I like. Next, I read We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. And this was also a library book, so I have already returned it. But this was my kind of like spooky, cozy read for fall. And even though it is very hot here still, but it follows the story of Mary Cat, who lives alone. Well, not alone, who lives in this kind of big mansion in a small town with her uncle and her older sister, Constance, who have been shunned from town, or kind of like the talk of the town, because of this mysterious murder that kills pretty much most of their family except the three of them. Now, even though they have, even though they are a bit isolated from the town and, not treated the best by the townspeople, Mary Cat is very happy and peaceful in the life that she has with her sister, with her little weird eccentric behavior where she kind of goes off on the grounds and sometimes has a little kind of nook um, in the garden. But all of that peace is disrupted when her cousin Charles disrupts their life. And even though he looks like he's there to just, charm Constance, who is starting to, fall for him, he does have an ulterior motive. So Mary Cat now has to figure out how to get rid of him. So yeah, it was a nice, cozy, spooky novel. I would say her writing, the best way to describe it is if Martha Stewart was a witch and she wrote a book. um, she has this cozy element. I feel like the cozy element comes in because she writes about daily life or the simple life, but adds a slant of horror to it or creepiness to it, which makes it spooky. So yeah, I loved it. I really want to check out more novels by her. Um, I think she also wrote The Haunting of Hill House, which I want to rewatch in October. I don't think I'm gonna read it in October. 'Cause I don't know, I just find it weird, you know, reading it and thing. Anyways, those were all the reads in uh oh sorry. Those were all the books I read in September. And these are the books that I want to read in October. Uh I've already finished this one. This one's Plain Song by Kent Haruf. Um, have a lot of feels, but I'm gonna talk about that later. Okay, Out by Nats- Natsuo Kurino. Isis Ballad by Magda Szabo. And the fourth one is Winding Hall. And yeah, that's it. Thank you. Bye.